Hey guys, Bob1925 here, watching the Progress 57 docking to the ISS. I saw the launch earlier today, the videos are already up.
Space Station Flight Control Room at the Johnson Space Center in Houston, and welcome to our coverage of the docking of the Russian ISS Progress 57 cargo ship to the International Outpost. We welcome you in to the International Space Station Flight Control Room. At this hour, the Orbit 1 team of flight controllers is on duty. They've been here throughout the course of the overnight hours, overseeing preparations for the arrival of the Progress cargo ship, working in tandem with their Russian colleagues half a world away. That docking is scheduled just under 39 minutes from now. Presiding over the Orbit 1 team is Flight Director Judd Freeling. He's on the right side of your screen, joined on console by astronaut Jim Kelly, who's the spacecraft communicator, talking throughout the night to the Expedition 41 crew aboard the International Space Station. It was just 5.5 hours ago that the Progress 57 cargo ship launched from the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan.
I saw that.
Tour test will be announced separately, but that.
The countdown was flawless on a very clear and cold day on the central steppe of Kazakhstan. Liftoff occurring at 2:09 and 43 seconds a.m. Central Time, which was 1:09 and 43 seconds p.m. in Baikonur. The Soyuz booster lifted the Progress resupply ship away from the International Space Station's launch site at the Baikonur Cosmodrome in Kazakhstan. It arced out to the northeast. All of the 3 stages of the Soyuz booster performed flawlessly. This launch was a big boost, both literally and figuratively, for the space station program in the wake of the catastrophic launch failure last night of Orbital Sciences Corporation's Antares rocket, which exploded just about 16 to 18 seconds after liftoff from the launch flight facility in Virginia, and creating the loss of the Cygnus resupply craft and 2.5 tons of cargo. In this case, all went well with the Progress launch, the Progress being delivered to orbit 8 minutes and 45 seconds after liftoff, and within seconds after separation from the 3rd stage of the Soyuz booster. The Progress deployed its solar arrays, its navigational antennas, and its camera boom, all successfully, and began a series of pre-programmed thruster firings to close in on the International Space Station. The launch occurred just as the International Space Station flew 260 miles over southern Russia, just north of the border with Kazakhstan. 4.5 minutes prior to launch, the International Space Station and its 6 residents flew directly over the launch site at the Baikonur Cosmodrome. So, with Progress en route to the station, we have been working with the Russian flight control team in Korolyov at the Russian Mission Control Center throughout the course of the night, as they have watched over a series of engine firings and all of the testing of the Corps' automated rendezvous equipment and other components of the Progress 57 cargo craft. Everything is in readiness, with Progress now just 7 kilometers away from its destination. It will link up to the Earth-facing port of the Russian segment of the International Space Station at the Pirs docking compartment, which was vacated on Monday when the 56 Progress cargo craft loaded with trash undocked from the same port at Pirs and moved to a safe distance away from the station for 3 weeks of engineering tests prior to its being deorbited to burn up in the Earth's atmosphere on November 19th. The Progress 57 cargo craft is loaded with almost 3 tons of supplies for the Expedition 41 crew, 1,940 pounds of propellant, 48 pounds of oxygen, 57 pounds of air, 926 pounds of water, and 2,822 pounds of dry cargo, meaning supplies, for a total of 5,793 pounds of cargo, which is just about 3 tons of supplies for the space station crew. We are about 15 minutes away from the point at which the Progress will begin a fly-around of the International Space Station. It will arrive at the at the point called the ballistic targeting point, and then its onboard computers and its core's automated rendezvous system will hone in to begin a fly around that will result in the forward docking probe on the Progress vehicle aligning itself with the Pirs docking compartment. That fly around will be conducted at a distance of about 400 meters away from the International Space Station, and it will result in a very short period of station keeping while the Russian Flight Control Team assesses the Progress's systems, checks out the precise alignment of the docking probe to the Pirs docking compartment port on the Earth-facing side of the Russian segment before the command is given for the final automated approach that will result in contact and capture to the Pirs docking compartment docking mechanism, scheduled for 8:09 a.m. Central Time. This is another one of these 6-hour fast-track rendezvous. The launch was precisely timed, and the phasing angle of the Baikonur Cosmodrome fell into alignment with the International Space Station, such that the launch today placed the Progress vehicle on a very narrow corridor to reach the station in this 4-orbit, 6-hour rendezvous that has been customary now for a couple of years for both Progress resupply missions as well as the missions that carry crew members up to the International Space Station. Once the docking occurs, there will be a period of leak checks performed by the crew members on both sides of the docking interface aboard the station itself and on the other side of the Progress vehicle. Once those leak checks are completed, the crew will be pretty much done for the day with Progress. They do not intend to open the hatch to the Progress 57 cargo craft to begin unloading the most critical items that are stored on board until Thursday, and they will proceed in tandem with other work that is being conducted on board the station. Throughout the course of the morning, for example, Barry Wilmore spent quite a few hours in the Quest airlock of the International Space Station, checking out another one of the U.S. spacesuits on board to return it to service. That EMU, or extravehicular mobility unit, now will be one of 4 available on board for spacewalks mounted out of the Quest airlock. In the Zvezda service module at this hour, Expedition 41 Commander Max Sarayev and Flight Engineer Alexander Samakutiaev are manning the Toru system, the telerobotic operated remote docking system, basically a joystick system in the service module that would be used in the highly unlikely event a problem would occur with the Corps' automated rendezvous system. They would take over manual control of the flying of the Progress in for its docking to the Pirs docking compartment. But at this point, everything is proceeding perfectly with all of the systems on the Progress craft that once again launched just about 5.5 hours ago at 2:09 and 43 seconds a.m. Central Time from the Baikonur Cosmodrome. Just about 5 kilometers separating the Progress supply craft and the International Space Station, approaching the neighborhood of the station. The crew on board ready to document the approach of the Progress craft, both with video cameras as well as digital still photography. And again, the fly-around, the automated fly-around by the Progress of the station, set to begin about 11 minutes from now. Once the docking occurs, there will be a period of about a minute or two to allow the relative motion of both vehicles to dampen out against one another. Once that motion settles down, then the docking probe on the Progress will retract to form a hard mate between the Progress and the Pirs docking compartment and set the stage for leak checks on the station side of the docking interface between the two vehicles. At this hour, the International